At Riley's birthday bash, my fiancée, Mia, handed over the house I had been saving for, our future crib, as a gift to her perfect dude. All while saying, a guy can only rise up with his own place. The guy was moved, hugged her, and planted a kiss on her cheek. I spun around and bounced. The house was gone, so no need for a wedding. Then Tyler hollered from the back, "Ethan, it's my birthday today. Where's my present?" Glancing at my empty hands, people in the room threw me some judgmental looks, whispering that I was just there for the free grub and drinks. Mia, feeling awkward, gave me a hard time. "Ethan, how rude can you be? Who shows up to a party empty-handed? Go out later and snag Tyler a Rolex to make up." I had just clocked out from work when she dragged me to this so-called celebration, only to watch her give away our house. Before, I might have confronted her, but now I was just too drained. "Who said I didn't bring a gift?" I snapped, taking off my promise ring and sliding it onto Tyler's finger. "Here's a ring for you. Best of luck to you and Mia." Without a second thought, I dipped out. Mia chased after me, grabbing my wrist. "Ethan, this is getting out of hand. I only see Tyler as a brother. What are you trying to provoke?" I told her seriously. "It's not about annoying anyone. I just feel he deserves the ring more than I do." Mia snapped back, as if Tyler would want a used, cheap ring. Toss it if he's not into it. I replied, "Cool with me." After a beat, Mia fired back, "Fine, don't come asking me to buy you another one later." Then she stormed out. When we got engaged, Mia's folks demanded a dowry of 280,000 ween, saying they wouldn't give anything back. I wasn't fussed about the material stuff, just handing over all my savings. My only ask was for her to grab me an engagement ring. But Mia called me shallow, questioning why a guy needed a ring. We had a rare week-long Cold War until she grudgingly went with me to buy a 2000 yen pair. I cherished mine, but hers disappeared without a trace. Now I saw that forced things never really belong to you. Leaving the hotel, I strolled down the sidewalk. A bitter wind slapped me, but I felt nothing cold. Can't be colder than my heart. After a while, Mia called, "Ethan, where'd you bounce to? My stomach's killing me. If it hurts, take some meds." Why call me? I thought. Before, I'd drop everything for Mia, rushing to her side. But now I was done being the free caregiver. I hung up and hit up my manager. "Leo, is your offer for me to be a marketing director overseas still on?" Leo was pumped. "Of course, Ethan. I've always valued your hustle and drive. You'll crush it expanding our overseas market." "Thanks, Leo. I won't let you down." I booked a flight for the next week, treated myself to a suit I'd been eyeing, and had a nice dinner. My job paid well, but I scrimped and saved for a house. Ironically, just when the dream was within reach, Mia shattered it. I chilled at the mall until closing, heading home around midnight. Loud music hit me as I opened the door. Tyler and his crew were throwing a wild party in the living room. They smeared cream all over my carefully chosen leather sofa and left trash everywhere. Every detail was my effort and care, now trashed. Fuming, I turned on the lights. The sudden brightness killed their vibe as they glanced at me, annoyed. I held back my rage and said, "Get out." Tyler strutted over with the deed, taunting, "Getting forgetful already? Mia gifted me the house. Did you forget?" His friends chimed in, "Yeah, this is Tyler's spot now. We do what we want when we want. Better change the locks, Ethan, so no randoms sneak in." I snatched the deed from Tyler. "Check it. The names on it are Mia's and mine. If you don't leave, I'll report you for trespassing." Tyler was briefly embarrassed, but quickly shot back, "Ethan, stop acting like you own the place. Mia promised to transfer the house to me tomorrow. This house belongs to Mia and me. Both need to sign to transfer ownership." "I don't agree." Furious, Tyler called Mia, who showed up minutes later. Tyler immediately played the victim. "Mia, you promised this house to me. Ethan's threatening us with trespassing charges." Mia frowned, pulling me aside. "Ethan, I gave this house to Tyler. You're making a scene. Let's dip." I shook off her hand. "Mia, the house was bought with my money. What right do you have to give it away?" Feeling humiliated, Mia raised her voice. "Ethan, are you starting a fight? So, about that $500,000 I lent to your adoptive parents, why didn't you bring it up? Tyler and his crew looked shocked. Oh my God, that's just being a leech. Who lets a guy use a woman's cash like that? Mia must have saint-like patience to put up with this freeloading dude. Whoever marries someone like that is asking for bad luck. Their words flushed my face, and a deep sense of self-doubt hit hard. I grew up in an orphanage and was adopted. When my adoptive parents found out I was dating a wealthy girl, they asked Mia for a loan of $500,000, which always made me insecure around her. I thought Mia got me, but now she's just exposing my embarrassment to everyone. Trying to stay cool, I pulled out a note with the calculations I made during dinner. When we bought the house, I put in $630,000. Subtract the $500,000 my adoptive parents took. You owe me $130,000. From now on, this house is yours alone. Mia was stunned as she looked at the notes. She didn't expect me to pull something like this. Ethan, I thought you were different from others, but turns out you're just as petty. I chuckled. Mia, since you're so generous, just pay me back the $130,000, okay? My words riled her up, and she immediately transferred $130,000 to me on her phone. After I accepted, I said, "See you at the land office tomorrow at 8 a.m.? With clenched teeth, Mia replied, "All right, Ethan, just wait. You'll be crawling back to me crying soon." Tyler, looking pleased, chimed in, "We'll be there on time?" After leaving the neighborhood, I checked into a hotel to rest. Seeing the $130,000 balance in my bank account, I couldn't shake the sadness. That's when Tyler sent me a voice memo. In the recording, Tyler mockingly asked, "Mia, what did you see in that poor kid Ethan? No looks, no build." Mia's laugh came through. Just messing with him. Poor students like him, struggling to eat but clinging to their sad pride. Isn't it fun to mess with them? But I'm really getting tired of him. He fusses over everything. Tyler's exaggerated laughter echoed in the recording. So, from the start, she was just toying with me. I first met Mia in my sophomore year. When I started college, my adoptive parents didn't want to cover my tuition or any expenses. I juggled 2 part-time jobs, always picking the cheapest meals in the dining hall. Exhaustion and poor nutrition caught up, and I fainted in gym class. Mia and some classmates got me to the campus clinic. From then on, she was part of my life. She pretended to send money to my meal plan accidentally and started having me join her for meals. She'd give me the good parts of the food, helping me back to health. Eventually, she confessed her feelings for me. But I hesitated, fearing my background wasn't good enough. Slowly, she broke through my defenses and into my heart. I thought she was my savior. Now I realize that 5 years of my youth and all my love were misplaced. The next morning, I woke up early to hide my tired look from Mia and Tyler. I styled my hair and donned a new suit. I looked sharp. Mia was even taken aback when she first saw me. Tyler, a bit grumpy, observed Ethan. "That suit must have set you back $2,600. Did you blow the $130,000 you got from Mia?" Mia frowned. "Ethan, weren't you always the frugal one? What made you buy such an expensive suit?" I responded with a soft smile. "First, the $130,000 yesterday was a refund. My own money. Second, I don't need permission to buy what I want. I used to save up for a house and a future with Mia, but now I don't have a house or a partner to share it with, so why should I be stingy?" Tyler rolled his eyes and clung to Mia's arm. "Come on, Mia, let's go in. It's my lucky day, and I want to be the first to transfer a house." Mia paused, glancing back at me, and finally asked, "Ethan, is there anything you want to say?" I just smiled. "I wish you all the best. Hope Tyler loves the new house." Mia's expression darkened. "All right, but don't regret it." The property signed over smoothly, and Tyler happily left the land office with the title deed in hand. At least it was all wrapped up now. As I was about to leave, Mia called out, "You know the bridal shop called yesterday. They want us to pick our wedding photos today. Since you dressed up so nicely today to win me over, I'll let you come along." I turned back, giving her a look like she was out of her mind. Mia, the wedding house is gone. Why would I marry you? Mia looked momentarily flustered, asking Ethan, what do you mean? I clearly stated, we're breaking up. The wedding is off. Did you get that? Ethan, are you kidding me? The wedding's next week. Everything's already set. And now you're calling it off? All I asked was to call off the wedding. Considering you gave away the wedding house last minute, my little request is nothing. I turned to Tyler. If needed, just switch grooms too. Tyler, you've got the house and the ring. Naturally, you can marry her. Holding the title deed, Tyler eagerly told Mia, I'm with you all the way. Mia sounded serious. Ethan, haven't I told you that I always see Tyler as my little brother? He's all alone with no one to rely on. Who knows how long it'll take him to buy his own place if he has to do it solo? As his older sister, I'm just helping him out a bit. Why are you always so jealous for no reason? Mia has told me more than once that Tyler was orphaned young and has been staying with his uncle's family. It's really sad, and she asked me to be more understanding of his situation. I argued back, just because Tyler is unfortunate, does that mean he gets to depend on you and you just hand him a house? What about me? Am I not unfortunate too? What have you ever given me? Mia confidently replied, you have me, don't you? I'm here with you. Isn't that enough? Geez, she's really full of herself. I didn't want to argue anymore, so I turned and walked away. That night, I posted on my social media saying things were over between me and Mia and our wedding was off. A lot of college friends expressed their regret, saying we were once so in love, from campus sweethearts to wedding vows. Yeah, if I hadn't heard those recordings, I would have believed we were genuinely in love. But now I know it was all a facade. Not long after my post, Mia called me. Ethan, who gave you the right to unilaterally call off the wedding? Our wedding is not canceled. In a cold voice, I replied, whether or not you call off the wedding is your business, but I won't be there. Mia, unwilling to give up, asked again and again, Ethan, are you really breaking up with me over a house? That's right, just because of a house. Maybe Mia will never understand that it's not just a house to me. It's about having a home. Hearing the determination in my voice, she sounded like she was compromising. Fine, we can buy another house. We'll save for a couple more years and pay a down payment. How's that? Thinking about the past 2 years, I hadn't bought a single new piece of clothing. Even when I was starving outside, I'd go home to cook, just to save money. Every time I thought about getting closer to that dream house, I felt motivated, even if things were tough. But just because of her words, the house was given to Tyler, her true love. Now she casually tells me to save for another 2 years. And then what? Take on a mortgage and save for another 30 years? What am I, a fool meant to be by her side, suffering? Mia, a house was my dream, but I no longer want it with you. Right after hanging up with Mia, my adoptive parents called, berating me without mercy. The gist was, now that I've canceled the wedding, they won't return the money they borrowed from Mia. I'll have to figure out how to pay it back myself. I wasn't shocked by this outcome. From the moment they got the money, they spent it all on my brother's investments. I never planned on getting it back, but I did have a final use for that money. I told them I'd come by the next day to discuss what to do. That night, Mia sent me hundreds of messages, from initially ordering me not to cancel the wedding to later pleading with me. I didn't even finish reading before blocking her. The next day, I brought along a pre-prepared agreement and went home. My adoptive parents and brother all looked at me with disdain, as if my presence ruined the place. Eventually, my adoptive mother spoke first. Ethan, you were in a good relationship. It was heading towards marriage. What happened? I looked at them calmly. They want $288,000 in bride price and for you to repay the $500,000 borrowed. Otherwise, they won't let their daughter marry me. Mother shook her head repeatedly. That's impossible. From the moment we adopted you, we've been feeding you, giving you an education. We've spent quite a bit on you, so there isn't any extra money for bride price. I laughed inwardly. She wasn't afraid of being struck by lightning saying such things. Father banged the table. Then don't marry. There's no shortage of bachelors finding wives these days, Mia's parents said. If there's no marriage, you'll have to return the $500,000 to our family. Hearing this, my brother, who'd been gaming, suddenly panicked. No, that's not possible. I've already invested that money with my friends. I definitely can't get it back anytime soon. I pretended to be troubled. What should we do? They continued. If you don't pay up, we'll call the cops on you for fraud. Mother said, Fraud? No way. Haven't you been with our daughter for years? Hearing her words made me incredibly uncomfortable. I didn't want to keep playing games with them. There's another way, I said, which is for me to sever all ties. I'll take on the $500,000 debt alone. This way, even if they report it, they'll only come after me. Hearing this, the three of them instantly lit up, agreeing it was a great idea. I took out the severance agreement and they didn't hesitate to sign. After signing, I was about to leave when my mother said, I made plenty of food and want you to stay for lunch. Thinking this might be our last family meal together, I agreed. With their burden offloaded, my adoptive mother went to cook. My adoptive father watched his spy movies, and my brother continued gaming. It felt like I was the only extra person there. I pushed open the bathroom door. The small foldable bed I used to sleep on was gone. Our home had 2 bedrooms and a living room. One bedroom was for my parents, the other for my brother. When I was first adopted, one room was mine, but after my brother was born, my room became a foldable bed that moved from the living room to the bathroom. I slept wherever it was placed. They never really treated me as family, leaving me feeling like I didn't belong. That's why I wanted to start a family with Mia. I wanted a real home of my own. Mother did prepare a lot of dishes. It was funny how the whole table was full of dishes my brother loved. Not a single thing I liked. I ate like I was chewing wax, swallowing the food, and then I was out of the neighborhood feeling like a walking corpse. I never expected to see Mia rushing over at the gate. She handed me a tissue, looking all concerned. That's when I realized I was crying. No wonder my face felt cold. Every time you come back here, you're upset for ages. Why do you still come back? I took the tissue, wiped my tears, and steadied myself. Because I need to tell them I'm canceling the wedding with you. Mia froze. I said I'd work with you to buy a new house. Why can't you let this go? I walked out, expressionless. Because I'm not in love with you anymore. Is that reason enough? No, I don't believe you. You used to love me so much. This can't just end out of nowhere. Believe whatever you want. Just then, Mia's phone rang. Tyler's name popped up on the caller ID. After hesitating, she picked up. Tyler, didn't I say to call me less often? Tyler's voice sounded pained. Mia, I twisted my ankle coming downstairs and fell. Mia sounded worried. Where did you fall? I'm coming. She got Tyler's address and looked at me apologetically from her car window. Ethan, Tyler twisted his ankle. I'll take him to the hospital and come back for you. I smiled faintly and nodded. Go ahead. Don't keep him waiting. Twisted ankles hurt a lot. With my blessing, Mia seemed relieved. I'll be back soon. Wait for me. Her car sped off into traffic like a bullet. I'd seen this scene many times. No matter when or where, Tyler could always summon her with a call. She wouldn't come back. Actually, Mia was wrong. I didn't just suddenly stop loving her. My love had already faded from waiting and disappointment time after time. Sure enough, not long after, I saw Tyler's post on his feed. Mia once told me whenever I needed her, she'd be there. She's never broken her word. The picture showed Mia feeding him porridge. Below that was yesterday's post. A man only stands tall with a house, so she gave me one. Feeling happy. And her post about Disney, a trip she wanted for a long time. These posts caused many arguments between us. Now I liked every one of his posts. Even after getting back to the hotel and finishing my night routine, Mia finally remembered me and called. Her voice was tired. Ethan, I'm here to pick you up. Where are you? No need, I'm already back. Mia sounded a bit annoyed. You left without telling me, had me running all over. Do you know how tired I am today? I mocked lightly. Mia, do you think I'm stupid? Look at the time. Why'd you think I'd wait? I used to be dumb. On a rare holiday, Mia and I planned a hike. Halfway up, Tyler called her away. She told me to wait for her. I climbed to the top, waited from sunrise to moonrise. I knew then, deep down, she wouldn't come, but I stubbornly kept waiting. I just wanted to see if she'd remember me. She did, finally, and her first words were scolding, "Ethan, are you an idiot? Didn't come back when I didn't show? You're just standing there for show?" Mia remembered too. Her voice softened. "Sorry, Ethan. I promise I won't leave you again." Your apology means nothing. For days, Mia called me or waited downstairs at work. But most times, she'd leave when Tyler called, then call me to apologize. This cycle repeated until the day before our wedding. Mia looked at me seriously. "Ethan, Tyler is being discharged today. You know he has no family. Only I can do this for him. But I promise this is the last time. Once we're married, I'll keep my distance." What made Mia think my indifference lately, the breakup and wedding cancellation, was just me being angry that I'd show up on our wedding day? I was done explaining. After she left, I packed. Coincidentally, I was scheduled to fly out with the team the same day. She'd see I wasn't bluffing. The next morning, I met up with colleagues at the airport. Before boarding, I checked Mia's messages. "Ethan, the fleet's a no-show. Ethan, the driver said you didn't pick up the car today. Ethan, it's our wedding day. Where are you?" I sent her my location at the airport and boarded, turning off my phone. The thought of Mia in a panic lifted my spirits. Looking out at the clear skies, I knew a new life awaited. When I returned 6 months later as the overseas marketing director, I came back to report on our success. Job done. Stepping out of the company, I saw Mia waiting. She wasn't the vibrant woman I used to know. Her face was worn with age. The moment she saw me, she rushed forward and hugged me tightly. "Ethan," she said, "where have you been these past 6 months? I've looked everywhere for you and couldn't find you." I had heard from the main office that Mia was trying to locate me, but I had already told them to keep my whereabouts a secret. Mia's act of giving the wedding house to another man didn't sit well with them either, and they all turned their backs on her. After hitting several brick walls, Mia had stopped coming. I thought she'd given up by now. I placed my hand on her shoulder and pushed her away, looking at her critically. In hindsight, my taste back then was pretty poor. Loving such a lousy person to the point of losing myself was just pathetic. My voice was distant and cold. "Mia, what are you looking for me for? I'm pretty sure I made things clear a while ago." Visibly emotional, Mia said, "Ethan, let me take you somewhere. Once we arrive, I'm sure you'll forgive me." "Sorry, my time is valuable. I don't have time to waste with you," I said. As I turned to leave, Mia grabbed my wrist and shoved me into the back seat of a car, locking the doors smoothly. I was about to call the cops when Mia pleaded, "Ethan, please, just come with me to this place. I promise if you still can't forgive me after you've seen it, I won't bother you ever again." Driven by some kind of curiosity, I put down my phone. I wondered where this place was that she was so confident about. The route we took grew more and more familiar. Eventually, we stopped below the building of our old wedding home. I had a vague premonition then. Mia took me upstairs and stopped at the door of our former wedding home. She opened the door with a key. Inside, the decor had returned to how I originally set it up. Plain fabric sofas, a bouquet of tulips on the table. Even the once broken ornaments by Tyler and others were replaced exactly as before. Mia pulled out a bright red property certificate and opened it, clearly showing both our names with a change date from 3 months ago. She handed it to me, earnestly saying, "Ethan, I was wrong before. Tyler and I grew up together. He lost his parents young, and everyone around always told me to protect and care for him. It became an obsession over time. But during these past 6 months without you, I realized you are the most important man to me. I love you. I've taken back the house, hoping to end the conflict caused by it with the house itself." Her words were well-spoken and moving, but they were only convincing to the old me. The current me didn't need that anymore. I pulled out my own apartment key and waved it in front of her. "I don't need to rely on anyone now. I can achieve what I want on my own. Expanding the market in a new city over the past 6 months was tough, but the payoff was worth it. My salary doubled, and with that and the 130,000 won I had saved up, I was able to put a down payment on a 60 square meter studio apartment. It wasn't big or in a fancy location, but it was enough for me. It's truly my own home. Mia stared at my keys, speechless, and after a long pause, with tears welling up, she asked, "Ethan, is there really no chance for us anymore?" Without hesitation, I said, "No chance." Tears rolled down her cheeks. I knew she was giving up for real this time. Confidently reclaiming the wedding house from Tyler and setting it up again didn't win my forgiveness. My new apartment proved to be a harsh reality check. I turned and walked away, feeling no obligation to comfort her. Downstairs, I ran into Tyler. His eyes were filled with bitterness as he said, "Ethan, you must be really pleased with yourself now. You think you've won?" I never took him seriously before, and I certainly wouldn't now. Ignoring him, I kept walking away. Tyler taunted from behind, "Ethan, let me tell you, Mia is having my baby. She will belong to me for sure." I just smiled nonchalantly, and the words of blessing came out easily. "I wish the three of you a happy and blissful family life." This trip back was full of challenges. After sorting things out with Mia, my adoptive parents stormed into my workplace next. It turned out my brother lost 500,000 won on a failed investment and then got scammed abroad. They scraped together 700,000 won by emptying their savings and selling their old apartment, but still needed 300,000 yuan more, and they wanted it from me. I reported them to the authorities. They then tried to gain sympathy online, manipulating my sense of duty as a son. I posted a copy of the agreement we signed severing ties, along with a detailed piece about my life as an adopted child. The response was overwhelming, as many orphans resonated with my experience. I hadn't realized so many shared my story. We supported each other online, using my story as inspiration. We can't choose our birth or parents, but through our effort and resilience, we can create our own future. My adoptive parents failed to guilt-trip me for any money and were instead bombarded online. They vanished from sight. Eventually, they managed to scrape together 1 million won but couldn't bring my brother back. Losing their son in old age led to a mental breakdown and their eventual suicide. After hearing the news, I took a day off. I went back to handle the burial of their remains. 5 years later, I had moved up to the position of vice president in the company. I was transferred back to the main office. The company had a charity event to help kids with heart disease recover. I was there as a representative. I didn't expect to see Mia there. She was holding a frail little boy applying for the company's charity support. That's when I found out Tyler had drugged her to get Mia pregnant. They got married because of the baby. Due to the drugs, the baby's development was incomplete in the womb. He was born with a severe heart condition. They spent all their money on his treatment. Tyler ended up leaving. Since we were once acquaintances, I spoke to the people in charge. Mia's kid got approved for the charity support. After the event, I left in a company car. Mia ran after me with her child to thank me. I just waved it off. Later, a coworker asked why I didn't use the chance to get back at her, to settle the score from back then. I told them it wasn't necessary. We started on the same line. But years later, when we met again, I was at the peak of my life. She was just a face in the crowd, taking my help. That made her suffer more than any revenge ever could.